Susanna, the Philadelphia market is a very interesting market. There's a million things we could cover. Silent suffering. Haven't heard that term, but from you, I'm learning. What does that mean?
Well, it's my own personal take because like we're talking about, you're passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about helping people. I've, for probably a couple years, been trying to reach some of the distressed homeowners. I've tried seminars, I've tried direct mail, I've tried door knocking. It's very, very difficult to reach effectively to people in Philadelphia. When I was in Hawaii doing short sales, people were more online. You know, I was working in the luxury market, and I think the owners responded to webinars, they responded to videos, they responded, and I was able to effectively reach people.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about this. Hawaii. When were you in Hawaii? And this was the luxury market.
Yeah, I started my real estate career in Hawaii in 2004.
And the bust around that time.
We had like a tsunami. It was like, you know, financial tsunami.
Yeah.
You know, it went skyrocketing in values and then completely dropped, you know, like.
So you were dealing with a lot of distressed first homes, second homes. What did that look like?
Mostly second home. I did some short sales for first, you know, for their primary residence. But there we had people buying $1.5 million homes with negative amortization loans, with adjustable rate mortgages, with no doc loans, and all of a sudden it was like Vegas. You know, people were playing with their real estate. I had clients who had $2 and $3 million homes, and then all of a sudden, you know, the market crashed. Values dropped. They can't refinance. You know, they have no equity. And so it was a real situation. You know, all the surfers in Hawaii, right? So I saw the wave coming. I got into short sales ahead of the curve when other realtors were like, I'll never do a short sale. Didn't even know what it meant. I dove in, got specialized, and started helping people. And that market is mostly luxury second home owners. And it's a different challenge because it's very difficult. And at that time, for those of you that remember, there was a lot of Fox News kind of negative demoralization towards homeowners who were in foreclosure. Okay. You know, like, I'm not going to help those people. Those
like there's something wrong with them.
You're a loser. Like, you know, it's hard enough emotionally for anyone. But at that time, I don't know if you recall, but it was really bad before they did the bailout, before some of the things came. And then it got to a point where half the country's in foreclosure or facing problems.
So you saw that as an opportunity?
I saw it as an opportunity.
Are you seeing it again in Philadelphia?
And now what's interesting here in Philadelphia is in the main line especially, I end up talking to people who, where they're upside down. You know, the property's underwater. They may not be in...
They're paying their payments.
They're paying their payments.
But it's worth less than they got it?
Correct. There's no way out. And so it's a different kind of silent suffering. You know, we have two different profiles of owners who need help. You know, one is in the gentrifying neighborhoods like Point Breeze and Grace Ferry. The older owners, there's often, as we've been talking about in this seminar, there might be equity there. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a short sale. I go to the auctions and I watch, and I'm like, most of the properties I see, they should not be at the auction.
Really? So a lot of properties that are at auctions,
should never be there.
They can get out of it.
Yeah, if I could, I know that I could help them if I could just get to them, you know, because, say Grace Ferry, you know, 3 years ago, those properties were only worth $45,000. So the mortgage is more than likely more than 3 years old, wouldn't you agree, if it's in foreclosure?
Yeah.
Right? So the mortgage has to be based on the old values. And in today's market, that same rundown house is worth $100,000 or $80,000 at least. So even with penalties and fees, if that mortgage, say, payoff is $60,000, I have an investor that would pay him $70,000, give them $10,000 to move on with their life, save their credit.
So what's the approach then? You have to connect with those people and then make the cross connections?
Yeah, it's all about building trust, helping people know that there are options. Right now in that market, I'm working with Kenyatta Johnson's office. Yeah. I'm working with social networks through churches, through nonprofits, trying to get word out.
Where do you get your drive from? Because you're about 100 miles away from Philly right now at the Real Estate Recovery Group's short sale boot camp. I think that needs to be said. You're, quite a ways away.
As are you.
Educating yourself. Yeah, well, yeah, we are. So we're just like, why am I great? You can tell them, and then I'll tell you. No. What makes you so open-minded to learning?
I'm passionate about helping people. Every time I meet a new client, real estate is just the vehicle. So it's my pleasure to be able to help people. And I see a deep need in Philadelphia and the main line. And I'll tell you the other side of that suffering, and it's no less we identify with grandma who, has the house from 1980. But, for instance, I talked to a doctor in the main line a couple months ago who his listing had, as we say, expired, and I called him. It was in foreclosure. It's $1.4 million. And,
Wow.
He was letting it go to foreclosure. He says, I'm just going to rent because the value is upside down. And his prior realtor wasn't knowledgeable enough to know that he can have assets, he can have other properties, and he can be current on his payments, and we could still have done a short sale. We could have gotten him out from under that property, used the market condition as the hardship, which is what I did in Hawaii. I helped, executives, I helped people with $1 million properties not have to pay $100,000 out of pocket, and move on to the next phase of their life. So there's silent suffering. Just because someone, is in the $1 million price bracket doesn't mean it's any less suffering.
There's things that they can do to
There's
alleviate that
options
pressure.
that they're not hearing. So my passion is to get information out to Mainline and into Philadelphia about options and solutions.
Anyone watching this that's going through this or has a friend that's going through this, how do they reach out to you? You're very active on social media.
I'm very active.
What are your handles?
Susanna Kunkel, Philly Market Minute, # Philly Market Minute. You'll find
You're
me
always
anywhere.
doing videos.
My number's on Google, but you can certainly call me, email me. All you have to do is look up Philly Market Minute, and I'll come up. But I'm 215-920-2888. I answer until I go to sleep.
And I can say you're a giver. I remember when I was, in an accident, you were one of the first people to give me hand cream. I don't forget that.
Yeah, vitamin E, the magic
vitamin
solution.
to put
That's
on
right.
because I had
That's
some
right.
serious injury.
You were hurting.
And,
Yeah.
I won't forget that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for this.
Thank you.
It's awesome.